All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How is it going? I'm istherenoonelse, and today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I have encountered in the last week since I've been back on ESO. For those of you guys that don't know, back in August, I moved into a new house and I took a break from the game. I was busy with other stuff. Performance wasn't great in October, and I was like, you know, it hasn't been great in a while. And I was like, well, I haven't really taken a break from ESO for 5 years now, so I'm just gonna wait until the next patch, which is what I did. Worked in the house, just took a break, decided to, you know, recharge the ESO batteries, and I've come back and trying to catch up on all the different content that came out in this latest patch, trying to catch up on the new gear, farming, stuff like this, just relearning a bunch of things that either was changed or new set combinations, all that sort of stuff. And I've been watching YouTube channels, I've been watching, reading the forums, and this has always existed, but because I've taken a step back, it's kind of given me some clarity, and I kind of wanted to talk about it and bring light to something that I just think shouldn't really happen. So that's what this video is, and we're just going to dive into it. So yeah, for years now, there has been an endless supply of finger pointing in the ESO community. It goes on everywhere. Just on my channel, for instance, if I do a patch note review and there's a set adjustment, and I think it's good for PvP, I talk about it, and I have people that are in PvE and they comment and they're like, you PvPers nerfed my set, all you do is cry, which is kind of funny that, you know, they're complaining, or as you could say, crying on a YouTube video about how somebody else was crying. It's just like the irony is very amusing, but at the same time, it just doesn't make any sense because, number one, we have Battle Spirit. You can adjust things through Battle Spirit. They've done it countless times. And now in like the last year and a half, they can now add or remove sets from Cyrodiil. And so now we could have sets that are PvE only, and they can be as strong as you want. If people enjoy them in that avenue, they can be there without impacting PvP at all. And so I feel like that's the goal. The goal is to keep as many people as happy as possible, and you have tools to do that. And so if PvEers like Zon hitting for 100k per tick, cool. But 100k per tick in PvP, it's a little overtuned. I think we can acknowledge that. I was watching Nice ESO's video on heavy attack builds, and heavy attack builds have been strong for a while. They've been really overtuned. Like the amount of effort taken into the amount of damage that you can do is quite ridiculous. And yeah, it's been this way for a while, and it's kind of slid under the radar because other stuff has been more overtuned, you know? And so it's been strong, but other stuff has taken to the front. And it was funny, I was reading his comments and people were like, yeah, I use this to clear Vatysran's hollows and VMA and all these other sorts of things, and that's fine. It's okay there. But we can acknowledge, hopefully we can acknowledge that 9k heavy attack ticks in PvP, it's just a little ridiculous. Like when you take into account that ZeniMax comes out and they go, hey, animation canceling doesn't give people a chance. It doesn't give people a chance to react. And so we had to put a cast time on ultimate so that people could react in the game. And then you provide an undodgeable channel that hits for 9k a tick. You can see that there's a little bit of a disparity there. Like the cost effectiveness of an ultimate versus a heavy attack. Ultimates should hit harder, and they don't. that's the point. And so yeah, I'm not trying to take away, and I don't think Nice ESO, maybe he is because he's kind of evil like that, but I don't think we're trying to take away PvE setups. It's just, hey, like maybe we should look at this from a PvP perspective and adjust it through Battle Spirit, or adjust these sets so they don't work and stack in this way in PvP, because it's kind of ridiculous. That's it. And so the finger blaming goes on and on and on and on and on. And you have people complaining about YouTubers sharing broken builds, and broken is subjective. Like if you die to something, like there's a good chunk of the community that if they die to somebody, they're cheating. Like that's just the way it is. There's no way you could have killed me unless you were cheating. That's just how a lot of people function. There are broken builds, of course. I classify broken as sets that, or setups that just don't really have a counter. No matter what you do, no matter what you try, you don't really do enough damage and to have an effect. And so that's what I classify it as. And so when I encounter those, I try to bring them up. I try to talk about them. And lately, I haven't been talking about them as much because, we've been in COVID times. People have been working from home. They haven't really been addressing builds the way they were a year and a half ago, which was, it would take a couple months, but since early 2020, it's taken a couple of set builds, took almost a year to get adjusted. And so, yeah, YouTubers are going about doing things different ways because they're different people. And yeah, people are getting mad about a lot of things. And from my perspective coming back, it's always just been asinine. It's always been really, really dumb because none of us have an impact on what ZeniMax does. And so people are sitting here pointing fingers at each other. It's your fault this happened. It's your fault this happened. Meanwhile, ZeniMax is the Wizard of Oz behind the screen, pulling all the levers, making everything happen. And they're just going by unnoticed. And it's like, why do we got to do this to each other? If you have an issue with what's going on in the game, you should consult the people that can actually make an adjustment. I know it's crazy. I know, like, this is a big brain theory of mine and nobody's ever thought of it before. But at some point, it's like, why are we beating our heads against the walls, getting angry at each other when it's literally just the game? I know we enjoy the game, but we can acknowledge that it has warts and there's some things they can improve, and this is one of them. And so, yeah, maybe less. My point is less finger pointing in the community, more reaching out to ZeniMax, talking on the forums and doing stuff and trying to get the changes that we want for the game that we want. And so I'll bring up an example. The gameplay that you see, or the lack thereof, was me trying to go into Greyhost last night for transmutes. I wanted to post it because I had a guy on my channel a couple months ago tell me that I'm scared to go into Greyhost. And I just think it's funny. You have people that play in a certain campaign, and it's shockingly, but every time somebody plays in a specific campaign, that campaign's always the best. It's always the best. And so I was trying to explain that I play during primetime hours and it's always laggy for me, so I don't play. And he's like, you're lying. Greyhost during primetime hours isn't laggy, which, I mean, I don't know where he's playing. I don't know if we're playing the same game, but whatever. I mean, good for him. But I like my ass off. And so here's me logging into Cyrodiil, trying to get to a keep, and I lag out and I instantly disconnect like 3 or 4 times. And then I decide to go to the other keep, in the other direction, and watch how many times I try to activate skills. I'm trying to weapon swap. I'm trying to hit rally. I'm trying to hit vigor. I'm spamming vigor, just trying to get one to go off, and nothing's happening. And that's just what performance is. And like, I've seen people talk about if 1vx is dead and all this, and it's not. 1vx is not dead if performance is good, because yeah, you're fighting outnumbered, but when performance is bad and your skills don't fire, you just can't survive. So you're already fighting outnumbered. You're already dealing with a bunch of different things. But then when your skills don't fire when you need them to, when your block doesn't go off, or if you're trying to dodge roll an incoming attack, or if it's slightly delayed and you take damage in a spot that you shouldn't, it's just frustrating. And at some point, it's just too much. And for me, I would love to be in Greyhost all the time, guys. Greyhost is 3 bars each faction. There's fights everywhere. It's the most populated. More people, more fights. Don't care if I win more, don't care if I lose more. More people, more fights. I've personally found more enjoyable fights to be in Greyhost when I'm there, whereas in Blackreach, when it starts to get to 1 to 2 bar of each faction, you get campaign faction stacking going around taking empty keeps, and you literally just run across a 30-man, or you run across nobody. And so there's no fun fights to be had at a certain point in Blackreach. It's just not. And it's not any one specific alliance. It's just whatever alliance is steamrolling that day, and more people hop on because they can faction stack over there, and yeah, eventually you have 3 bars, 1 bar, 1 bar, and you're just fighting a horde. And so yeah, I'm not blaming PvEers for this. I'm not blaming PvPers for this. This is just game performance, and I know they're working on it. But this is just the way it is. It's just, it's really, really shitty. And so, yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. Be nicer and constructive to each other. It's a season of cheer, guys. Come on, we got Christmas around the corner. Quit being dicks, myself included. But yeah, I'm going to do that. I have a couple builds dropping in the next week or so. One for sure, and then I'll be working on another one. I'm pretty certain I know what I want to run. So I should have builds dropping. If you guys have anything you want me to talk about, I'm back doing videos, as you can see. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.